Hello, Patriots. I'm Lee Watts, and this is Patriot Point. This week, we're going to be looking at the attempted assassination of President Trump and 10 takeaways we can get from this event. We're also going to be showing you how this is tying in to things that are going on in Kentucky politics right now. I want to start off by talking about President Trump's reaction to this assassination attempt. Notice what the president said. It was God alone who prevented the unthinkable from happening. We will fear not, but instead remain resilient in our faith and defiant in the face of wickedness. It was very encouraging to see him giving God the glory for his protection that day, something American Christians can be really happy about. And I want everybody to pay attention to what happened immediately after this shooting. He didn't cower. He didn't crawl away. In fact, he stands up and tells the Secret Service to wait, while he then challenges the American people to fight, fight, fight. Here's a video of that. They probably haven't been showing you.
Wait.
That's the kind of guy who's got some fight in him. He's about to be our next president. Well, let's look at 10 takeaways from this assassination attempt and what we can learn from this. First of all, we can do takeaway number one is the FBI, the Secret Service, knew the shooter was there. There's all kinds of videos out there you can find where the people are saying, there's a guy up there on the roof. He's got a gun. There's the ladder that was over there. Here's a picture that one of the people in the crowd took of the shooter with the gun. If a random guy with a phone can spot this kid clearly with the gun, then the Secret Service and FBI knew the shooter, was there. Number two, they let him take the shot. Everybody go back and look at the video of the event. There's President Trump in the middle and the Secret Service on either side with their snipers. The kid's on a roof a little ways away. Notice where the snipers are focusing before the event takes place. They're not looking at the crowd. They're not focused there. Notice where they are looking in the picture. They are directly aimed and focused on the spot where the shooter is at. They're looking directly at him before anything ever happens. So yes, they let him take the shot. Number three takeaway we can get from this attempt is they eliminated this kid so that he would not talk. There's no way in the world that this kid did this by himself. And to prove that, we have the organization BlackRock, which just so happens to come up in nearly every conspiracy you can talk about with the deep state. You're going to find BlackRock comes up. This kid just so happened to be in a commercial video from the BlackRock organization. Here's a picture of that. Unfortunately, this video has now been taken down by BlackRock, but it's amazing to me that he just so happened to be in one of their videos. So the first rule of assassination is you kill the assassin so they can't talk. Same reason they killed Lee Harvey Oswald after he supposedly shot JFK by himself with a single bullet that kept bouncing in and out of the president from different angles. He wasn't shot with just one guy, and neither was this kid acting alone. Number four thing we can take away from this, and this might be the most important one of them all, is they will try again. The leftists are terrified of President Trump getting into office. He can make a bunch of changes, turn the pipelines back on, gas prices and things immediately start going down. Inflation starts to dramatically decrease. He can get the border under control incredibly quickly. And we can see all kinds of massive changes for the positive incredibly quickly. And if people start to wake up and realize these leftists are destroying America, and realize we might actually get conservatives in office for years. The leftists are terrified not only of being exposed for their corruption and being sent to jail, but also losing control for those who are pushing this globalist socialist agenda. So yes, they tried the media attacking him. They have tried kangaroo courts. They tried raiding his home. And so none of that worked. The only thing left to try is to try to kill the man. And I'm afraid to say that I fully believe that they will try again before he's allowed to take office. The next thing we can take away from this is the timing. I want everybody to note two specific things about the timing of this assassination attempt. Number one, for the 2 or 3 weeks before this event took place, what was dominating all of the news everywhere was how Joe Biden is mentally incompetent. There was calls from not only the right, but also the left and world leaders saying, you are mentally incompetent. The Democrats have a senile person in there, need to get rid of this guy. But he said he wasn't going to leave. However, nobody's talking about that right now anymore. And I think that's very important with the timing. Number two with the timing is this event took place 48 hours before the Republican National Convention started, where they're going to officially nominate their candidate for president. And had this assassination been successful, the Republicans would have no candidate. There would be scrambling amongst a bunch of different people trying to take position, and it would have greatly hurt the Republican chances. So the timing of this is not passing by unnoticed. The sixth thing we can take away from this is you are what you eat. And what I'm talking about here is the mainstream media. I highly encourage every single person watching this video, do not watch the liberal mainstream media. Some people think, well, I just like to watch it to keep an eye on them. I am telling you, this will have an effect on you, on your thinking, or those who are with you watching the programs. And don't expose yourself to poison. Notice how the mainstream media handled this assassination attempt. The Washington Post said, Trump escorted away after loud noises at Pennsylvania rally. Well, it just sounds like he's afraid and running away of a big sound. NBC said Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after popping noises heard. USA Today said Trump removed from stage by Secret Service after loud noises startles former president. CNN, the communist news network, yeah, listen to them. Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after he falls at rally. So this is what the leftists are pushing. He fell down. No, he's not Joe Biden. He didn't fall down. He was shot. But then amazingly, again, he stood up, told the people to fight, and then walked off the stage. And I'm telling you, if you are watching these leftist media, it will have an effect on you. So what you can do is say, I refuse to get their papers. I refuse to watch them. And if you're in a public place and they've got CNN on or MSNBC, one of these radical socialist groups, if it's possible, get up there, change the channel, and have the courage to get up there and do that, do your country a service. The seventh thing we can take away from this is that the leftists know Donald Trump is about to become the next president of the United States. And there's no way they can believably cheat. Oh, they can still cheat. Why? Well, we still have these ballot drop boxes all over Kentucky. Thank you to our Secretary of State, Michael Adams. And they got them throughout the rest of the country as well. And these electronic voting machines that Michael Adams keeps trying to keep and not let us get rid of these things. And we're going to see what happened in 2020 with Michigan and Wisconsin, where in the middle of the night, 100% of the votes that come in magically, thousands of them, are all for Joe Biden, and he jumps straight up. This does not happen. So here's something for everybody to take away and remember. If you have any member of the United States Congress or any statewide politician who dare say that some kind of election like that is legitimate and certifies it, that person is either a fool or is a part of the deep state. Let me reiterate that for every Kentucky congressman. If you certify a fraudulent election like that again, you are either a fool or a member of the deep state. And I think you know who I'm talking about. And this will never be tolerated again. And I'll spend every cent I got to run those people out of office. I don't care if you claim if you're conservative. If you certify a fraudulent election, then you are an enemy of the people of Kentucky. I'm Lee Watts, and I approve that message. Let's talk about what else is going on here. Number 8 takeaway we can get from this is that if President Trump is responsible in any way whatsoever for what took place on January the 6th, then the media is responsible for what just took place with this assassination attempt. Because they're like, well, hey, they say Trump's riling the people up, so he's culpable for what happened on January the 6th. Well, notice what the leftist media has been saying about President Trump.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country
is white men, most of them radicalized right, up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
That's it right there. Pull it up.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Now let's look at the number 9 takeaway we can get out of this. And that would be, what happened if this had all happened in reverse? What if instead of an assassination attempt against Donald Trump, it had been an assassination attempt against Joe Biden? Well, right now, Donald Trump would be blamed. They would hold him responsible. There would be rioting in the streets. We all know that would take place. And yet there's no riots taking place right now. The patriots who support the Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, we would all be labeled as hate speech people, and we're all violent. However, we don't see that coming from the mainstream media nowadays. So if this had all happened in reversed, there'd be big calls for gun control and blaming Trump for all of it. So let's look at the 10th takeaway here, and this is what ties into Kentucky politics. The 10th takeaway is we just saw the results of DEI in action. DEI is a socialist program standing for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this ties into what just happened with the Secret Service. We see here during the assassination attempt, there's a Secret Service agent that is cowering behind the person that she's supposed to be defending. The director of the Secret Service is a lady by the name of Kimberly Chattel, and she said, our goal is a 30% female Secret Service by 2030. I have a major problem with that. I don't have a problem with a female being a member of the Secret Service. Quite the opposite. You see here, another female was here that day. What did she do? She stood right in front of the president, doing her job proficiently. So I have no problem with a female being in the Secret Service. I have a major problem when the director says, I want 30% to be female. That's not based on their merit. That's just based on this whole, let's be diverse with who we're including. No, your positions in the Secret Service, or if you're going to be an airline pilot or any other position, should be based on your merit, not simply because your organization wants to have a diverse group of people there. If I'm getting in an airplane, I don't want it to be like one of those who have recently fallen out of the sky because they wanted diverse pilots. I want a pilot that's earned the position through their merit. You got somebody operating on you. I don't want somebody who's operating and the hospital hired them just because they wanted to have diversity in their surgeons. I want a surgeon who has earned the position based on their merit, their experience, their intelligence. And this is a problem. We are seeing this DEI results in action. You know who should be the new head of the Secret Service? Because this socialist lady, she needs to be fired. The new head of the Secret Service really ought to be Kyle Rittenhouse. I'd vote for him to be head of the Secret Service. So yeah, I have a major problem with this. Now, this DEI agenda, pushing this diversity, has come into Kentucky politics. Just this Tuesday, there was a meeting at the Kentucky State Capitol. I was there for this. It was the Interim Joint Committee meeting on education. And they were talking about DEI in Kentucky universities. And every single public Kentucky university came up and said that they're for DEI, all this diversity thing, and they wanted to push it and increase this. There was one state representative who was a member of this committee, a great conservative fellow by the name of Representative Steve Rawlings. And he asked a very pointed question, talking to this university presidents. I believe it was the president of Northern Kentucky University, if I'm not mistaken. And Representative Rawlings asked, what does forcing somebody to take this DEI classes you're forcing on them, how does that make them a better engineer or whatever job they're going for? They didn't really have an answer for that. So good for Representative Rawlings asking, How does this actually help me be better at my job that the university is supposed to be preparing you for? It doesn't. It simply is pushing this leftist socialist agenda. We had several bills this year to get Kentucky universities and public schools out of this DEI socialist poison. And despite efforts of people voting for it, we never were able to get that across the finish line to be made law. And we are seeing the results of this diversity programs with this assassination attempt. You get incompetence. So I encourage you to contact your legislator and tell them that, hey, I would like to get Kentucky out of this DEI socialist poison, and let's get to a merit-based system. The way you can contact your legislator is call them at the Kentucky Capitol. The phone number is 1-800-372-7181. And that message center is open weekdays during normal business hours. As I always say, whenever you call to leave a message for your legislator, be brief, be courteous, and ask them to contact you back with what they will be doing. And you can encourage them, say, hey, let's get Kentucky out of this DEI stuff, both in our universities and our public schools. So that's something going on right now and what you can do about it. And so be brave, stand up, change those channels in public if you need to. Make the calls and don't let them scare you into inaction. Because just like President Trump said,
Wait.
That's what we have this week. So until next week, Patriots, I'm Lee Watts for Patriot Point, reminding you that liberty is not a spectator sport.
Wait.